Oh, well, welcome back to Geek, Feng Shui. I'm your host and game master, Bob Sellers Jr. Shout out to our friends here in chilly Cata, Minnesota. Chaotic Good Brewing. Great place to visit. Come in, stay warm. Or Under Pressure in Golden Valley are equally fun, south by southeast and beautiful, yet also chilly Pine Island. Family, pet, kid, fun friendly, although unfortunately, if food is served inside, according to the rules of regs, pets can't. To be outside in the cold weather means you might want to leave them in. Unless you're going under pressure, because I know they allow them inside because they don't serve food, but you can bring food or have food delivered. Most have events if you check their respective calendars or Facebook pages. Beer choir, trivia, Dungeons and Dragons, Magic the Gathering, and more. And as a stocking stuffer idea for those in the area or other states to check out, we do offer in Minnesota a beer passport where you can go to the breweries, get a stamp and a pint. Just saying, it's a good stocking stuffer idea. Check out my books at sellersjr.com, my overall website at geekfengshui.com on this channel, which we appreciate if you like, subscribe, and setting on the bell. Commentary as well, but commentary is moderated due to the troll storm. But if you keep between the lines and manage to keep your criticism cordial, it will get posted. But trolls need not apply. That's not a pun on the fact that we're looking at an alliance priest. Yes, I'm going back to start up some of the non-hardcore characters, as it were. I did some rearranging, or re-wrangling, as the case may be, of my characters. And I have decided to move most all of them to Benediction, 85s. I have 3 left to move. And I'm going to make that my primary server. For a couple of reasons, I left characters back on Whitemane, but that server has gone really, really quiet. Did I say really? And these characters, this character here is on Faralina. I got 4 alliance. So I try out just to see how things were in these different servers. But I will get back to my Benediction characters. I thought I'd show a startup. I don't think I've done one in a while. Of the items, because I usually go, as you can see, I've been to Stormwind and Transmog, but I did send gold over by using tablets. You can send a silver tablet, it costs $2.25 and you can sell it for 60 gold. So each of the characters has gold. They got some bags. They got just professions I'm going to do. I'm going to have a plan, because I'm going to have a tailor, or let's see, I'm going to have a blacksmith, a leather worker, and a tailor. And then I'm going to have 3 skinners and a miner to split up between characters. So in this case, this character is a skinner and a miner. When she gets out of the regular area and gets into fighting stuff. I'm still playing hardcore. It was funny because I had thought I was on a PvP, so I'm not. I'm a hardcore normal, which is good, because that in hardcore it all takes is 1 ganker to ruin your day. But you have to be careful you don't get flagged. It's fun. It's really slow, as you saw in my last videos. I'm using heirlooms. Apparently, I didn't set on loot. With hardcore, you really have to be careful where you go. I got my character up to 14. Skinning is the shizzle for making, if you're going to do hardcore, of making silver. Because everybody kills stuff that can be skinned. He's a skinner. So if you're outside of some of these old towns, you might find piles and piles and piles, and you can sell it. And therefore, my character has bags and green gear that I've got from the auction house I might not otherwise been able to afford. I trimmed my white mane alliance down to the 3 Thumbelinas simply because they were special for back when in Wrath when I was taking on Horde. And I still have some Horde characters there, but the server, even on the Horde side, is quite enough that doesn't work. And the other thing that did happen is I like to farm. Some people fish, some people do this, do that. And one of the interesting things you get into, let's see, bring up the map here, even though those characters can't go there yet. There's nothing else. But if you go to it's considered owl. Deep Home is what I'm trying to find, but apparently it doesn't list on here. There was an urban legend of Deep Home boosting, and it got me curious as to what that was. Well, I got into skinning and found out the marketplace, at least on Benediction, has to do with the leather and items that drop. Simply skinning those dragons over and over and over again. Even though I've already picked up, because you can pick up your gathering skills. I will not get leather, but I'll level up and stuff I kill over here, which is kind of interesting. But getting back to Deep Home, I began to hear in chat about people wanting to do Deep Home. And the only way that you would be able to do that is if you could get to Deep Home at a low level. But I don't think you can be summoned there. In all the hours I've spent skinning this, I've never seen, because you have to be 82 to be there normally. I have not seen a character level lower than 85 other than myself when I've been there. So I don't know if they mean boosting from 82 to 85, which is possible. And there's other areas that they have where the respawns are so fast. But again, I don't think you can get there unless you're 82 or higher. I could be wrong. But yeah, the area for spawning the dragons, going back to what I like to do for fun, is I'll go farm the dragons. You get some nice gear and stuff. But if you're on the short end of the stick, you're oftentimes blocked out of it because the faction with the higher population, for want of a better term, usually floods the area with people. So in the case of Benediction, it was the Alliance. And in the case of Whitemane, it was Horde. Well, I have high levels on both, but they're on different server. Well, now that's not the case. So what I can do when they get really annoying, if I'm on Horde and there's a bunch of Alliance, I'll just switch to my Alliance because I have a Hunter, I have a Rogue, and I have a Warlock that can skin those areas and get the items. So, I mean, if they want to compete and not be able to kill the person they're competing with, ding, ding, ding. And I've leveled up my Warlock that'll be coming over. The super farmers, as I call them, are dual purpose. I have miners and herbers, and I have herbers and skinners, or miners and skinners. So that means when I'm leveling my lower level characters who are going to take a profession and they need this, that, or the other, then I will go farm it. I did not boost any characters. I just moved them. They have a deal. I was hoping they'd go on sale. They'll probably go on sale for Christmas. I'll wait for the last three. The services go on sale here and there and everywhere. But we got a bonus at work. And I invested in two things. I invested in an Xbox and moving the characters. I did buy a token to split between everybody on Benediction so that my super farmers have fast flight, not the ultra fast flight, but I was amused. I was going over on my paladin. I have a mount quest I have to do every day. I would go over to Uldum. Oh, 6 bag. It's hardcore. I'd be really happy. But I'm Huntard. My favorite nemesis in the Horde is now flying around. I passed him, but with my paladin with the faster flight, he doesn't stand a chance of catching him, and didn't. I haven't yet to inform him that he has had somebody come over that can thoroughly mock him now. Don't care, but Blizzard was nice and gave me 24 hours access on my WoW 2, so I could get everybody in the proper guilds. I created these, got these 4 characters created, and some gold transferred to the Horde on new server. So get the fast flight, and everybody's happy, happy, happy. Oh, that's right, it's upstairs. Berlina is a PvP server, Horde heavy. Why I'm doing Alliance here is just because it's fun. It was a novel fun when I was on White Mane, still is. But it was fun when I had both sides to play the marketplace. And you don't have that anymore. So I don't know if people have given up on White Mane or what the deal is. But the Alliance Benediction are a treat, even for when you're playing Alliance. I will go back and play the Thumbelinas and perhaps some of the Horde over there. But yeah, White Mane has just lost its charm other than the memories of the fun I had there when I was having fun on that server. The Horde on Benediction that were raiders, I think, have moved to this server because it's watching the wrong arrow. The population here of raiders is much higher. Go up all the way to the top. So they have come over here. So I know what's going to happen to that guild over there. Yeah, it's the holidays, and you'd think it will spike up. With the Xbox, I'm going to have some games I'm going to play. I found out how to stream it. It was kind of cool. I can play my Xbox from my PC through the Xbox app. And as part of the package, I got 6 months of their Ultimate Pass, so I can play a lot of games I don't have to buy to stream them and show off. Where on the PC, I had to buy them. And there's some games I still have on the PC. I just don't play them on the PC because they take up space. It's Diablo 4. I've linked. I haven't. Is this supposed to go? Oh shoot! I thought that's the healing guy. There's a guy you have to heal. Where are my skills? I can't heal. But anyway, there's a couple interesting games, and it'll be fun just to do one-off videos on. There's a priest. I've done druid here. The priest might be upstairs. One of the things that has been claiming a lot of lives in hardcore that they complain bitterly about is the disconnects. Well, you have people that are playing this game hours and hours and hours. I mean, I've played for 4 hours or 5 hours, but these guys are playing more than that straight. And there are memory leaks, cache issues, server problems, because you only have so many servers. There's a buttload of people that are playing in one area. So the flash shields, one heal I have. Even here, I've noticed the lag a bit. Now, to be fair, Benediction and Carolina are East servers, and East is getting hammered. Cold weather. White means west. Oh, I got to do 5. Druid just had to do 1. I created a druid just to get refamiliarized with the quests here. So you can double up on them for. This is Gazoon Type, my old namesake from the days way back when it became infamous in the forums of Blizzard. I've told this story before, but way back when I was far more naive than I am now, there was a you go browse the forums, learn about stuff. This is long before Google and all that stuff was around to help you answer stuff, and people would post suggestions and tips. And it was a great place to go visit. But there were cowboys and a character named Triv. I think it was Ravencrest, which server I was on. I could be wrong if memory, if I'm mistaken. And don't go picking on characters named Triv. They're not all the same clown. But anyway, I was in doing a battleground. I just got really annoyed because nobody was listening. It's just one of those things where you have to go blow off steam somewhere. So I went and I didn't do it arrogantly or swear words or anything. I just posted in the front. I said, oh, this is why we lose, because nobody does. Well, what they were doing as a regular practice is they would take a post of somebody's, they would hijack it, meaning they would completely change the topic, the replies, make jokes, and it was just obnoxious, rude, and many times condescending, to be quite honest. And so I got fed up with it after a while, and I went and I looked up the rules, because when you participate in the forums, you have to agree to a code of conduct that specifically lays out the things you don't do. I mean, there's no limitation what you can do. It's just there's things you just don't want to do. And I would find flagrant examples in their posts of things that were against the code of conduct. And I would open a ticket, explain what I saw, why it was a variation. I just asked for a simple review. I said, hey, these guys are doing this. I think it's a violation of this particular section, and I'd link it and show them. And after a while, they started getting banned from the forums, not the game, but the forums. They got temporary bans, and they come back and they double down, sometimes triple down. And somehow they found out it was me. To this day, I think one of his group was a moderator. I have no proof whatsoever of that, but there was things he knew that shouldn't be known unless you have access to the records of stuff on there. And anyway, they started back. Yeah, that's fine. It's just a game, and they were irritated with me. I was irritated with them. But then what happened is they kept going way out of bounds to the point where I would log a call or open a ticket. This guy shows up the minute I killed one guy. There he is. And they started getting permit bans. Well, they just somehow knew, again, I don't know how, that it was just me going through it. It wasn't like I was making stuff up. They were, you could give a man enough rope, he'll hang himself. And they proved that rule over and over again. Anyway, they got so irritated. Well, over on another server that was Big Horde, because that's what people I worked with that were hardcore raiders rated on it. They got tired of the Blizzard rules, so they created their own forums, a third-party forum outside of Blizzard's control. Illidan was the server they were on, so they called it Illidrama. And what this allowed them to do is to be able to say and do what they wanted to do without repercussions from Blizzard. So these clowns decided to create one for Ravencrest. I can't remember what they called it. And me being me, I wanted to keep track with these guys. You just never know. You hear stories about things getting totally out of hand. Back then, they didn't have doxing and all the stuff that they have today. But, there was concern because what had happened that I wasn't a side effect of their own making is Triv was writing a log of his life, and he had a troubled life. The guy definitely had issues. And it turns out he lived over in Wisconsin, which is not all that far from where I live. And, if you just never know with some people. So Anyway, I created a Gesundheit character on that new server. Didn't do any posting or anything. Didn't link any of my personal information. And I created another character, so I just sat back and waited. And it took them about a month before suddenly it dawned on them that characters there now. Let's just pull up. After a while, my character was all that they talked about. And they said that we did not create this just to talk about one guy. And the humorous part of it was I didn't do anything to them again. Now, I did find and do in Triv several times in the game, and particularly in Wintergrass, because back then it wasn't a shared area as it is now. And so you could fly in and join the game on the fly, pun not intended. And I had 50-50 split of characters, Horde and Alliance. So the Alliance was winning, I'd switch to Alliance if I was on Horde or vice versa, sometimes mid-battle. Well, the trick was is you go up to Ice Crown and you fly down and you get dismounted and you parachute in and land on the castle. If you don't own it, you can start taking out stuff. And I come down one time and there's Triv sitting on a gun, not shooting at the people who are, helping inside. He was just sitting there crafting because you can click on him and see what he's doing. So I killed him off from above and he moved to the inner wall and continued doing his doing. So I did it to him 3 times to his inside. And the funniest thing was they finally figured out I was up on top of the wall, and I wish I could have taken a screenshot of it at the time, of their own catapults shooting their own fort, trying to get me. They weren't shooting at the other side. But yeah, they finally got permaban from the forums. Again, not the game, but the forums. And then what did they do? They waited until we got the next release. I can't remember. It was Cataclysm or whenever a new expansion came out. They erased all of the bans for whatever reason. It was part of the install on their side. I don't know. But when the bans released, they went back to the same old thing. Pretty soon, they would get reported and they would get banned again. This happened over 3 expansions. Well, the side effect that I did feel bad about in the end was Triv was writing up a bunch. He had a post that had gone on for years. It was like a story time with Triv thing about his life and bad things that were happening with it. And anyway, the side effect of getting banned from the forums is your posts get deleted forever. They don't ever come back. And I felt bad a little bit. I did. I'll admit that. But then again, I wasn't the one that was doing what they were doing. So, like I said, I feel bad a little bit, but that's about it. And he moved to a different server. I moved to a different server. I actually had a Triv character for a while. It's just to annoy him on the other side. And people thought he switched factions and were getting after him. Those were the fun days. Yeah, there's a lot of characters named Triv, so don't go around picking on characters because I never really knew the name until I met him, and then I realized how popular it was. It's like Azamari has a special place to me because of the woman that backstabbed me twice. I've told that story before. I'm telling the 18th time, but that was a combination of things. The reason I even got into that guild is I got bored. I can't remember if it was Cataclysm or it might have been Miss, but bots everywhere, particularly in Oldham. So a friend of mine who played the opposite faction, I can't remember if I was Alliance in this order or vice versa, would go along and we actually opened up enough tickets and we got talked to by a GM, not a guild master, but game master, and they told us how to word our reports. So we had 10 steps that we go through when we ran into it. If he was the same faction as me, I would do the initial. And if he's a faction of the other person, they'd do the initial. Then you'd add them to friends list, whisper them, invite them to the party, and then kill them. See what happened. And as they pass all 10, and we report, we knocked off over 450 bots. And the reason we know they were knocked off is you add them to the friends list, they go away and never come back. And anyway, there was a suspected bot going around. We were on like step 6 when all of a sudden he came like, well, he claimed he was watching a movie and wasn't paying attention. I'm still highly dubious of that to this day. And I got to know him, and I got tired of the guild I was in on the server. And I said, hey, you got a guild over there, I'll come join it. He wasn't really a guild master. He created the guild and let other people run it. The inmates were running the asylum, literally and figuratively. So I joined that and had a great fun. I was even in Ventrilo. I'd be trying, it's one of those things where you get invested in having fun, playing with, talking to people outside the game in Ventrilo. But yeah, that was a straw that broke the camel's back. And I had been out of WoW for 4 or 5 years before Hardcore came out with Diablo 4, and I kind of drew it back because Diablo 2 is what originally got me into playing these games back in the day, or Diablo 1. I played a little Diablo, and I went to Diablo 2 in the Hardcore. I think it was Diablo 1 had the local servers you could play, and I had a level 99, I think they were assassins in that game. That was back, and she had 3 pips. I always joke about that. It's like on Star Trek when you see the captain's pips on their deck for the officer, because I got each difficulty defeated in a server game, so to speak. You'd open up and have people in there. And they gimped the game, and it was very difficult to get from 80 to 99. It was almost impossible. But then I stumbled into WoW, and because friends were playing, it was Laughing Skull, it wasn't Ravencrest came later, also Laughing Skull. I did not understand, like a lot of people don't, what open world PvP is and what populations can affect it. So I was on a horde heavy server playing for 7.5 years before I really began to realize how bad idea that was. I mean, I had good friends and good guildmates and great times and great stories, but yeah, that was when you really learn things. And that's when I started playing horrors. 7.5 years, I was getting kind of burned out in the Alliance side. The Horde side is definitely different. Same stories. It's very similar quest lines, but just different enough. It's a completely different game. And you're going to have jerks on both sides. No side is more angelic than the other. But now that I have my characters in the same server, if I can't get into one area to do stuff, I can switch over and do the other. To me, they feed both. I feed both of my sides of characters, whether it's one side or the other. And sometimes so let's see, I'm going to put I get in hardcore, those are too expensive to stockpile, as it were. So I stick to the lower level ones because my druid goes through a lot of mana. But playing hardcore, you realize the game is out to get you. What I mean by that, there's hyper spawns, which are fun if you're a skinner because you just keep killing things and skinning. But you get into certain areas where you have to kill a mob, and that mob keeps coming back. Yeah, that's not cool. No, at this point, I might normally, I think I will. I go over to Stormwind. And level, because I find that the area there is just faster from familiarity. It's spread out here, and this is a great area, but it's not one of my favorite places to. So we will go and take a boat over, take a trip to Delaware, set my heart there, and come back to Stormwind. Now in hardcore, what I would do is I would priest trainers. She's up there. In hardcore, what I would do in the past is I go to one starting area and 3 secondary areas, level up. And I still kind of suggest doing that. From super argument here. What I try to do is to try to buff people as I go by. Been paying attention to some of the streamers I've been doing. They use streaming software not different than what I use. I don't know if they just never used the stuff I use or not. But I've logged in and created an account. They do it for live streaming. I don't know if I've tried doing lives. Lives are good if you have an audience that will participate. If you don't, no different than doing a recording and posting it. A lot of heavy duty streamers do live because they'll have an audience that goes in there, contribute and give money to them. It's like, consider that kind of I want to say pandering, that'd be the wrong term, but it is what it is. StreamYard, I think is what it's called. I use OBS Studio, which can do lives, and early on I did a live. I mean, it's like I said, if you have nobody watching a live, then it stays as a recording for you to watch later, so it's no different than what I'm doing now by recording. Here it is. I have the music turned down, so you can at least hear me. But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing some Xbox games. WoW isn't on Xbox yet. They keep talking about it because Microsoft essentially bought World of Warcraft. And I don't know if they could have ported to console. There have been games that have been. And I don't know if within Xbox it has to spawn a PC-esque shell to run it. But there's a lot of other games. There's a Western that may get into doing some videos of. It's kind of a first-person shooter. It's kind of cool. It has joystick versus a mouse. So there's that aspect. And then when I got my first bonus when COVID hit from our company and it gave out a bonus, I bought a gaming PC, which I'm playing on now. That was the first ever, I'm going to say, it wasn't a bleeding edge, it was leading edge gaming. And it's proven its merit. I've upgraded, added some hard drives and stuff too, but it's performed really well. But I've never had a real console of my own choosing that I bought myself. Way back in the day when I was a kid, we had Atari. That was my parents bought that. We had it, so we played it. But it wasn't really mine. It sounds trivial, but anyway, with the Xbox, it's the first one, and you can play it remotely. I can bring it with me and go places with it. And it has a lot of power to it. My daughter wanted me to look at the PlayStation PS5, and she's really into PS versus Xbox. And I said, there's just too much in common I have with PCs. We have VR headsets that we invested in last year that we really haven't used. And I can use a VR headset with the Xbox as long as we have the Ultimate. So I plan on trying that out. I think all it is you're watching the game up close as if you're in a studio. I don't know if it really adds much more to the video. We'll see. I haven't done it yet. The goggles do get tiring on the head. Turkey Day is tomorrow, so it'll be fun. Family time. Our youngest is coming to visit. So years ago, we used to do all the traveling when it was Thanksgiving or Christmas. So when you have kids and grandparents, you always want to bring the kids to the grandparents. And my wife and I are from the same town. So not only will we have to travel, we'd have to split time between relatives, which became quite dicey when the kids were younger, and later in life we decided to pick one over, spend one day with one day with the other. And my kids missed out on having Christmas, Thanksgiving. We'd have Thanksgiving here for the most part, but Christmas, there was a handful of them over their young lives that we had at home. And I always kind of regret that in a way, because there's nothing better than a home Christmas versus traveling, packing up stuff, traveling, packing up stuff. If I was foolish enough to go on the tweak go forward, I could get to down south. I could take the boat across and go level up outside of Ogre. That's just asking for trouble. I've done that at higher levels. When I've gone and changed professions where I went picked up mining or skinning, I'll go and do it outside the other factions. And it didn't go so well here. I mean, I drew a crowd here. I was on Horde, and was that over in Whiteman? One of the two. Yeah, I was outside of Stormwind mining. A bunch of the Alliance took exception. Couldn't catch me, but it was fun. Whitemane, you wouldn't see that much anymore. They really have gotten quiet. when I was on playing hardcore earlier, Deathlog was really, there's a lot of people just dying to stupid things. And they push the characters. I try to tell people if you're playing hardcore, play at your level or lower, because the mobs will get you. That was a priest trainer right there. Good to know. I don't know if I've covered this in the other videos, but you can teleport now instead of having to take the boat right over to. Well, and it used to be you had to ride over there, and even then you weren't able to get up to Dalaran because of the quest thing. But now they've opened it up so that you can, because there's a portal, one portal. There used to be portals to all the hotels, but they want Stormwind and Orgrimmar to be the main hubs. Good, bad, or indifferent as that might be. So even though a boat shows up that will take you over there, you just click on this guy over here, bada bing, bada boom, you're there. That would be the boat I was referring to. Horde is the same way. Take it right up to it. Will I play Horde here? Probably not. If I've learned anything, these are kind of my vacation teams, as it were. Gives me a kind of a test to see how things are population-wise. Like I said, Whitemane is really in a weird state where I would go and try to farm Horde down in Deep Home. Couldn't do it. They wouldn't share. So then I go on my alliance over on Benediction, and the Horde wouldn't let me. So it's like, well, now I got both, and I can go do one or the other in the same place, depending upon the temperature of the other faction, and still benefit from it. Because farming those dragons, you get a lot of stuff you can sell. I think one, I don't know if they're called Burn Dragons, I forget what they're called, they sell for 30 gold a pop in the Alliance auction house. And Alliance is the main group, where usually it's lower on the main and higher on the short end, but you don't have any listed on the Horde side. I thought about trying to list. I don't want to take people like claims. I thought about listing for like 200 gold, see if anybody buys them. But one of the things of farming is you not only get the leather, the dragon scale, you get a lot of greens that sell for good, so you can get a lot of money out of that. And if you're a leather worker or know of a leather worker and you're a skinner, you can get a lot of good stuff out of that. Skinners get a thing called I can't remember, it's called a stomach or whatever. You open it up and it'll have fire or wind or air in it. Things that miners get when they mine. I always thought this was a pretty trip. After the boring videos of hardcore. But well, you know. And you can really tell who owns what on the server when you go into Hellfire, for example, that the towers are usually held by the dominant faction. Not always, but for the most part. So what I do when I go farming there or whatever, I'll take one tower, because they can't get their quest done if it's only one tower. And, I like to tweak one there. Because there's a benefit if you're a 6 level 58 on up, you can get tokens for taking the towers, but in order to take the tower, the other faction has to be unowned. So you almost have to have an opposite faction. It's kind of, was I getting burned out of the game? A little bit, because I couldn't do what I wanted to do for fun, and that was farming. Now I can do that and leisurely go back and play my other lower level characters and know if I need this, that, or the other, I can go get it. If I need certain ore, I need certain skins. A lot of my characters have their professions max as they level up because I supply them from other characters. In this case, I won't have a Death Knight until I get one of my characters up to 55. I thought about bringing one of my high levels over. I thought, no. I'll have a tendency to play him more on Benediction, just simply for farming. Because this is about as close as I will come to having a base entry, because normally you don't have to go to the bay. Well, there's a way to do it with account bound stuff you can send across and sell, such as tabards. There's two tabards. There's a silver and a gold. I know them by the size of their tabard side, but the gold one, whatever the second level one is will get you 63 gold, I think it sells for it, but you buy it for 225. So you are losing gold when you buy them and send them across. But when you don't have any gold, I remember back in the day, so I give you 10 gold. It's like, oh my God, I'm rich. But I'm going to pause for a split second because I hear something going on upstairs. It's just our robot vacuum. One of those little round robots that goes around vacuuming. That's pretty good. They'll find something to grab up, like cords, thread. My daughter does needle stitch, and it's gobbled up thread. Taking it for a trip, you find thread all over. It's kind of funny. We found it funny. She didn't necessarily. They make a lawnmower version that set up using GPS and stuff. I said, that's kind of getting a little bit of too automated in my mind. I mean, if I will admit, getting mom and dad gave me their rider lawnmower that they no longer use, and it makes mowing our lawn. And they said, well, your lawn's not big enough. You'll notice more and more people these days have rider lawnmowers, even though they're not big yards necessarily, as you might expect. But there's advantages to it. It's faster. I think it does a better cut than push mowing. But it's not automated. I still have to drive it. One thing I do miss in hardcore, in the old vanilla version of WoW, is the flight points that are prevalent here, and we're not there. I don't think there's a flight point in Goldshire or any of the smaller areas. You have to hoof it. It's more than not intended. Not a lot of other alliance players, you know. So there were a few on when I was leveling my other startup characters. I got them up to still level 6. Wow, turkeys. I don't think you can skin those. This is where you start learning how to skin and there's a quest. Sometimes there's seasonal quests that will come. One thing I probably should do is get my macros. Eventually, we'll be doing instances at some point. I think that is the Thanksgiving things. I don't remember. These turkeys being around here. when you play one faction for so long, you go to another faction, you kind of come back and I know I forget where Flag and Deep is. Fargo Deep is a death trap in hardcore. Much like any cave, caves are bad in hardcore or any enclosed area because of the respawns. In hardcore, it's like, oh, bad, bad. As I level up other characters, you'll begin to see the difference between a high-end population and a low-end population, because here there's no other really alliance around. I have no competition. I've had, any server you're going to have issues with some of the players in there. Carolina, I haven't had real bad experiences other than a couple. I mean, you're going to get that with any server. White main, believe it or not, I've had issues with the Lord. Of late. don't think I have a boss questions. All 4 characters I have on the server are healers. Obviously, a druid can be a tank as well, as can a paladin. And that's kind of what I ended up doing on Benediction with my horde ally and druids. After a while, when you're on really bad tanks, switch over to tank. Suffer bad healers, and there are people that can't stand away and Q, and there'll be DPS and Q as tanks, healers, and fall flat on their faces. Now I gotta go separate the dogs from the vacuum, it sounds like. I will be right back. Now it looks like the dogs are gonna demanding some attention, so I think I will cut this video short. This will put me up over I think I'm already 15 armor. I'm not. Inner fire is nice. So is renew. In there for a moment. And we also so I'll put that in the middle, I think. And if you do use add-ons, make sure you keep them updated because that can affect gameplay as well. But I think that's about all we're going to do for tonight. So as I said on the beginning, say hello to our friends at Cata Good Brewing here at Cass and Mantreville, under pressure in Golden Valley, southwest, southeast of beautiful Pine Island. Our venues of similar nature Near you and yours, family, pet, kid, fun-friendly, fun-filled, chillaxation, always available. Whether you participate in events such as trivia, Dungeons and Dragons, beer choir, or more, check out their respective websites or Facebook pages for more information. Or bring your games with you. We bring a cribbage board and cards, and my wife and I sit and play cribbage while we partake, whether it's the food or the beverages or both. They have a great new menu at Cata Good. They make their own pizzas and sandwiches. It's really, really good. Other places, such as Under Pressure, you can bring the food with you, have it delivered. They don't make it there, and that's important when it comes to pets, because pets are only allowed in if there's no food being made. It's rules and regulations. So unfortunately, in places where they have to be on the patio, such as chaotic here in the winter, it's a little dicey bringing your pets. But yeah, check them out in your area. And again, as a stocking stuffer, you can often get a passport for the breweries where you get a pint and a stamp. A thought for those who might be wondering, what do I get? The person who has everything. I know. Check out my books at sellersjr.com, my overall website, geekfengshui.com, and this channel, which appreciate everybody like, subscribe, save the bell, and commentary, which is moderated, so keep between the rails. But yeah, please like the video. Any YouTube you watch, please like. It shows the creators, whether it's me or others, that you appreciate the work they do. And you know, you might not necessarily agree with the content or like how somebody did something, but we are out here doing it. And if you think you can do better, do it. Go out and start your own YouTube page and see how it is to see the other side of streaming. So anyway, have a good one. Happy Thanksgiving. I don't know if I'll be on doing videos tomorrow or not. Have a good one. Like, subscribe, set the bell, commentary. Please like.